Without a shadow of a doubt, and I do not stutter when I say this, the most important skill that you can learn as an entrepreneur is not the best sales strategy. It is not the best content copy. It is not the best way to sell out an offer. It is what we are going to talk about today in this episode, because this is going to be the reason that you are able to take on challenges and scale to a level that previously you never thought possible. And I swear you're going to understand why by the end of this episode, but this is the game changer. Let's get right into it.
Welcome to The Walking Trophy. The Walking Trophy is a podcast for high-level entrepreneurs and performers who know they were built for more. On this podcast, we explore how movement, fitness, and embodied discipline sharpen your leadership, regulate your nervous system, and expand your capacity to create, serve, and lead at the highest level. Through conversations on performance, energetics, and purpose-driven success, this show reframes the body as your greatest asset for sustainable power, abundance, and impact. Welcome to The Walking Trophy.
Welcome back to another episode of the Walking Trophy podcast, everybody. I'm officially saying the name in the podcast now. I don't know if you guys know the story behind the Walking Trophy, and to be honest, I do think that has to be an entire episode by itself, but it has such a little ring to it, did you think? I love it. I love it. We're all out here just embodying the real life version of a trophy. And you know what? You can only get the title of the Walking Trophy if you earn the title of the Walking Trophy. And ironically, that is exactly what we are going to be talking about today. Because as I said before, you think that the way to get to the next level, you think that the way to achieve your 2026 goals, you think the way to scale your company to whatever that next level is for you is by hiring the mentor that has the perfect sales strategy. They're going to teach you something new about ads or about copy or about funnels that you've never learned before, and it's going to skyrocket you to the next level. And that's going to be the missing piece of the puzzle that allows you to go finally do the thing you've been scared of. It's what's going to help you start the podcast or write the book or host the event or raise the prices, because that sales system, that was the solution, right? It was just that missing strategy. No? Yeah, you're right. That's not it. That's not even close to it, because at this point, my girl, I think you understand sales. I think you understand strategy, and I think you understand the value of high functioning ads, high functioning funnels, high functioning sales. Like, you guys get it. You understand that that's valuable, but it has a cap, because at some point, it is not actually the how that gets in the way of you getting to the next level. It is your belief in your ability to maneuver the unknown. Now, if you've listened to all of the episodes so far this year, this is back in episode 32. I tell you that 2026 is the year of the unknown for me. And the reason it is the year of the unknown, it is because this is a radical act of surrender. It is a radical act of allowing the universe to divinely interfere in the way that she must in order to allow the best possible outcome, as long as I'm in alignment with my goals and with my manifestations. Yes. So having this trust in the unknown is absolutely crucial. But the question is, how do you get there? How do you get to the point where you can kind of take your hands off the wheel a little bit and go, okay, I know that I can take that next step, even though I don't know what's going to happen. I trust myself to be able to navigate it. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. It comes down to your ability to trust your ability to get through the muddy, sticky, resistance-filled situations. That is the key. The key is the trust. The key is knowing that you have the confidence to get through any situation that you may stumble across. Because when you're taking that next step in your business, again, whether it is launching the podcast, writing the book, hosting the event, raising the price point, all of these factors are steps that you haven't taken before, or you haven't taken them to the extent that you want to before. Me, I'm getting 1 million downloads on my podcast this year. I've only created 30 podcast episodes in my life. I've never consistently stuck to it before, but I said 2026 is the year that I claim this, and so I know it's going to happen. And you know what that means? That means I'm going to have to do a lot of guests on the podcast and me on theirs. It means I'm going to have to do a lot of visibility. I'm going to have to do a lot of exposure. I'm going to have to increase my production. I'm going to have to hire a team. I'm going to have to create expert funnels and systems around getting people into my podcast so that it reaches more people. I understand that there are so many aspects of this journey that I genuinely have no idea how it's going to occur, but that's okay because I'm going to go for it anyway. I have no I have no fear on January 6th of 2026 telling you that by December 31st I will have 1 million downloads on this podcast. And it's not because I can tell the future. It's not because I can predict magical things, and it's not even because I'm like, "Oh, I'm just going to manifest it." Like, of course I'm going to manifest it. Bestie, of course I'm going to manifest it. However, that's not even the main factor here. The main factor here that is allowing me to lead at such a high degree of publicly perceived confidence, because I'm telling this to the whole world, is because I have developed the skill of trusting my ability to navigate challenge that comes from the unknown. I trust myself innately to be able to get through any obstacle or any challenge that might decide to cross my path as I am on this journey to this massively illogical, stretchy goal. And I did not get there because one day I snapped my fingers and I said, "Okay, I trust myself to be resilient through all challenges." Like, hell no, baby. God, has this been a journey. But I want to teach you because this is, first of all, this is something I'm absolutely still learning myself. But I want to teach you one of the main, if not the greatest component, the greatest factor in allowing me to develop and grow the skill and my trust in the skill to navigate the unknown. Okay, that's what I'm teaching you about today is how to navigate the unknown with a high degree of confidence, because it's not just like, woo, let's see what comes my way. This is going to be so fun and silly and easy and smooth. Oh, when you step into the unknown, it is anything but smooth. It is inherently chaotic. It is inherently sticky and challenging, and it's going to bring up a lot of pretty sucky emotions. So, what I'm teaching you today is the most important concept you'll ever learn in business, which is developing the skills to embrace the suckery, to embrace the suck of it all, to learn how to open with grateful, widespread arms the suck that is going to come into your life as you navigate unknown challenges. And this is something that, again, I used to be so bad at this. My God, I used to hate the unknown so much. I used to hate not knowing what was going to happen next. I'm notoriously a control freak. It is a former version of me, is what I like to say, because I don't like to claim that identity anymore. But I liked to be in control of everything, and I did not like to release that control. However, there's this one crucial thing that I have done over the last few years, but in particular over the last about 6 to 9 months, that has made the massive, massive stride in my ability to take bigger risks and see it through with a high degree of confidence. And that is the way that I have trained my body. Here's where we're going to put the pieces together. You guys know I'm body based. You know, I founded body based scaling. You know, I'm all about priming winning and priming all of these achievements on into your body at a cellular level. You know that I'm all about the way that we can connect the body somatically to these experiences of expansion, of winning. And so the way that I have married together the concept of training my body with embracing the suck is through making really sucky workouts. Stay with me. What happens when you are able to train your body in a gym setting or in a training setting of any type, where your workout is super sucky? Your workout is so hard. Your lungs are on fire. Your muscles are burning in a way you didn't know that they could. And you're actually starting to question if it is illegal, how hard you are working out, or maybe how hard your coach is pushing you, depending on the situation. You're starting to wonder if they're mad at you. They're like, you're wondering why they are pushing you to the extent that they are. You're wondering if you did something to offend them and they're just deciding to take it out on you in the form of a workout. Yeah, that is the type of workout that I'm talking about right now. In my world, we call these edge workouts. It's workouts that literally push you to the edge of your capacity and then ask you to go 1% further. It is the physical practice of expanding your capacity by being able to handle more challenge. That's what's happening on like a cellular level here. But mentally, what's happening during these workouts is while you are pushing yourself to the absolute edge, to the absolute limit, it is so unfun of a feeling. It is painful. It sucks. But you know what? You learn to create the most loving relationship with the hardest workouts. Because after you finish them, you look back and you go, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Oh my God, at one point I thought I was going to die in the middle of that workout. And look, here I am. I finished it. You get to the top of the hill, you look down at that hill sprint you just did, and you go, damn, I did that. Or you squat a PR, a personal best, and you re-rack it, and you look at the plates on the bar, and you go, God damn it, I'm strong. Even though at one point I thought my quads were going to snap in half, look at me go. Maybe you have treadmill intervals because your trainer literally hates you, and at the end you look back at the 20 sprints you just did, and you think, holy Christ, I didn't think I was going to get through that, but I did. And even though it was so painful during the workout, even though it hurt so much, even though in the moment you were in extreme physical discomfort, even though there was 1,000,010 things you'd probably rather be doing because this is an incredibly uncomfortable experience, it pushes you a lot. You look back on it afterwards and you go, I did the thing that I didn't know I was capable of. In the middle of the shit, in the middle of the suck, in the middle of the misery, I thought I might have to quit. But instead of quitting, I decided to keep going. And because I decided to keep going, I get to look back on it, high off of my workout endorphins, and go, I'm a badass. I just did that. And not only does that make you feel so good after, like talk about an ego boost. My God, if you don't know the feeling I'm talking about, you have not pushed hard enough in your workouts. Go to a workout that you think looks impossible on paper, complete it, and go, damn, now I know what Coach KP was talking about. But what I'm saying is when you have that really kind of miserable experience during your workout, but you marry it with the mindset of, but this feels so good, but I love how I feel after, but look at how much better I'm getting. Look at how much more capable I am than I thought. Yes, this rep hurts so much, but look how much weight I was able to add to the bar from 4 weeks ago. Yes, my legs are on fire from running up this hill, but remember when I couldn't even run all the way up and I had to walk part of the way up, and now I'm on my 5th rep running? Remember when I barely used to be able to lift this tire off the ground and now I'm flipping it 20 yards down the sidewalk? Whatever that thing is for you, you learn to fall in love and become addicted to the feeling of overcoming those physical challenges that at one point you either thought was impossible or it literally was impossible because of where your level of fitness started. You learn to fall in love with overcoming these challenges, with getting stronger, with increasing your ability and your confidence to complete these tasks. And so suddenly, this very miserable, very uncomfortable, very physically painful, but not in like the injury way, painful in the goddamn this sucks way, you learn that this discomfort, that this suckery is what I like to call it, is actually your clue. It is your hint that you are growing at a rapid rate and that you are getting stronger and that you are inherently getting more powerful and that at the end of this, you're going to be way better for it. And so you learn to love the suck. You learn to have gratitude around the misery. You learn that that burning in your muscles and that fatigue in your lungs and that that feeling where you just want to collapse on the floor, you learn that that feeling is your North Star to extreme happiness. How crazy is that? You learn that that feeling of discomfort, that feeling of misery is actually what leads you to one of your highest levels of elevation, to one of your highest levels of pleasure, because you learn to associate that feeling with the growth, with the evolution, and with the person you get to meet on the other side of said physical challenge. And when you do that, time after time after time, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, when you create this relationship with very challenging physical training, with very challenging exercise, with very challenging fitness, when you create that consistent relationship, not only do you realize, wow, I show up for myself every single time it gets hard, and I've learned to love so much when my workouts push me. Not only do you learn that an easy workout doesn't even do it for you anymore. It's almost boring because you always want to be challenging your edges. You always want to be stretching that capacity. But also, one of the main things that this does is it teaches you that no matter what you're feeling that day, you show up anyway. So, whether you got the best night of sleep ever, you wake up in a phenomenal mood, everything is going right, you just got 7 new clients overnight, payments are rolling in, you found out somebody wants you on their podcast, you found out a publisher reached out to you found out another person bought a ticket to your event. It's literally the best possible circumstances you could create around your life, and you head into your workout and you crush it and it's hard and you look back at it after and you're like, oh my God, this was so awesome. Whether that is the situation, or you wake up after not sleeping at all because your baby kept you awake all night, or because your fire alarm went off in the middle of the night, or because your partner wouldn't stop snoring and it kept you up all night, and then you wake up to 2 client cancellations, you have a lawsuit in your email, and you are really annoyed at your partner because you guys got into a fight last night, and you have every reason not to show up, and you feel like shit, and you go into the workout, and it's really difficult. But the key is that you went into the workout and it was really difficult and you still got through it. Learning to love your relationship with this discomfort, learning to genuinely embrace with open arms all of these feelings of resistance and stickiness and suckery. When you create the positive relationship, when you create the association of, I only get better from this, not only do you show up on the good days, but you show up on the bad days too, because you've learned to love the feeling. Again, it's addicting. It's addicting to overcome your own strength. It is addicting to grow in your power. And this helps translate directly into business because, yes, we all know that there are days when you love showing up to your job so much. And there are days where you would rather do literally anything else. There are days where there's not enough money in the world to make you want to show up and be a CEO that day. And I'm not saying those days outweigh the other days. God, I hope the other days outweigh the days that feel like you don't want to be a CEO, or maybe you need to rethink your career. But the point is that when you show up through hell and high water for every high and every low for your physical training, and that physical training pushes you to a place of chaotic discomfort, and you overcome it and you grow and become stronger and create that loving relationship with that sensation, that directly translates into when you show up for business and you have a problem that you cannot solve, or you have a challenging client, or you have to lead a team and you've never led a team before, or you're struggling to finish on a deadline, or you're struggling with technical errors, or your team is not communicating well, or you're having a client that's really challenging, whatever the challenge is, you've actually learned that these experiences you've created an incredibly positive relationship with. And it's not like you seek it, it's not like you're hoping to have a bad day, but trust you trust unconditionally in your ability to navigate whatever the obstacle is that comes your way. And that is why, because you've developed the relationship where you love the suckery, and because you know who you become on the other side, and because you show up every single day, no matter what, because you know that's the only option for you. That's what you physically trained into your vessel, into your being, into your identity. You know that as you take that next big step in your business that is full of the unknown and full of so many circumstances and situations that you've never navigated before and that you do not inherently know how to navigate, you do not have the answers, you do not have the solutions, you do not have an exact roadmap of how to successfully do X task. Again, whether it's launching the podcast, writing the book, hosting the event, increasing the sales, whatever it is, you don't inherently have the exact play by play blueprint on how to ace this test. But that doesn't matter for shit. It doesn't matter if someone gives you the answers because you trust your ability to navigate no matter what. It is not about the how. It is not about the specific actions. It is about you trusting yourself and your ability to get through the suck. You are willing to take chances and bigger risks and stretch to greater edges in your business. And as a result, in your impact and the number of people you can help, because you don't question when you face a challenge if you are going to get through the other side of it or not. That is not something that you entertain. That is not a thought that crosses your mind. Your belief in yourself, the belief system you've created about you, is that no matter what comes your way, you overcome it and you love the process. You love the person on the other side. You are addicted to overcoming challenge, not only in your body, though that's how we train it, also in your business. Nothing taught me this more than Muay Thai. You guys know, when I started my business, by divine intervention, and I don't say that lightly, by divine intervention, started Muay Thai within 2 weeks, I believe, of me starting my own business. And I've been training Muay Thai in parallel, in tandem to being a business owner for the last over 4 years now. And what Muay Thai taught me about pain during a workout, and what it taught me about pushing yourself during training, and what it taught me about not feeling bad for yourself when you're struggling, but utilizing that as fuel to keep going. I mean, shit. There would be days when I don't know if you guys have ever tried martial arts before, but if you haven't, let this be the plug to do it because it teaches you a lot about yourself. When you are in the middle of an hour class and you are hitting pads, that's where somebody is holding those pads and you have your gloves on and you're punching them. When you are hitting pads and you are doing 5 minute rounds and you have 30 seconds between these 5 minute rounds and you're doing 6 of them in a row, and your coach is a high volume, all power kind of guy, which means all out effort, and you don't have a second to breathe, and you quite literally, there are moments where I didn't think I could lift my foot off the floor to kick, where I didn't think I could extend my arm fully in front of me to punch. I was so exhausted. I felt like the wind could blow in the right direction and I would fall over from it. That is how exhausted I was. There would be points where, and I'm not promoting this, there would be points where I couldn't formulate a cohesive sentence because I did not have enough oxygen in my brain. Again, I'm not promoting that per se, but I am saying that I learned how to push my body to a degree that I absolutely never thought was possible. I thought I had been pushing myself in workouts until I started having the Muay Thai setting, the martial arts setting, where a coach said, "Ha, that's cute. 100 more. Oh, you thought we were done? 3 more rounds. Oh, that's nice. You thought that the 60-minute class that you did after the other 60-minute class that you did after the other 30-minute class was enough? Well, actually, we're going to go finish with some sprints in the alley." So I learned a thing or two about pushing myself. And one thing that I learned pretty early on was, okay, these classes are going to suck. And if I don't learn to love it, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna be miserable. And I loved the sport. I wanted to get better at it. I was addicted to getting better at the sport. And I didn't want to create a miserable experience getting better. I wanted to create a fun experience getting better. So when it sucked and when my lungs were on fire and my muscles were giving out under me and I was getting pushed to a point when I didn't know I could keep going, but I had to, that was me learning to love that feeling. In my head, I'm going, "Oh my gosh, amazing. My lungs are on fire. I can't take a deep breath. This is perfect." Or, "Wow, I can barely lift my leg off the ground because my quads are just screaming and my calves are so sore. This is the best because I know I become a better fighter on the other end of this very difficult experience." And so the more the class pushed me, the more I learned to fall in love with it. And as a result of learning that specific pattern, of having that specific relationship with Muay Thai, with my physical training that I did for the first 2.5 hours of every single day before going back to my business, every single day I primed the pattern of, no matter how hard this gets, I keep going. No matter if I literally get punched in the face, I get back up. Every time I get swept to the ground, I peel my body off the floor, I stand back up, and I say, "What else do you have for me?" Because I'm going to keep going. And that skill that I trained into my body, that mentality, that resilience, that identity of a fighter helped me in ways in my business that I didn't even understand at the time, but I can look back retrospectively and go, holy shit, I would not have made it through all of the challenges that I experienced in the first 4 years of my business had I not, in tandem to growing my business, been growing my skills as an athlete and been growing my skills as a fighter. It made a world's difference. Again, one that I didn't even realize at the time. I had no idea it was as significant as it was. But what I was doing was training resilience and trust in myself and in my ability to compete and in my ability to show up and in my ability to overcome every obstacle that came my way. I was training it into my body. I was teaching my mind to love it. I was growing a relationship of gratitude and of pure love and admiration for this experience. And so when it showed up in my business, when I first started my business and I needed to get my first client, and it was crickets, or when I made massive investment and was in huge debt for the first time. And it was still slow rolling sales systems when I had to learn everything from the beginning, when I had to navigate an entire new world, when I had to build the connections, when I had to face every obstacle that new business owners face as they're just starting something from the very, very beginning. I wasn't afraid of the challenge. I embraced it. Never once have I considered whether I was going to continue in my business or not. Even when everything was against me, when every number was against me, when every odd was against me, when every feeling was against me, even when outside opinions from the people in my life were against me continuing it, I never once wavered in whether or not I was going to continue with my business and whether or not it was going to be successful or not. And I think people around me would look at me and they'd look at the logistics of the situation and they'd be like, Caitlin, you're a little delusional. You're not making the money that you need to support this lifestyle. You're not getting enough clients. You're not skilled enough in business. You have no background in this. Why are you continuing to go? This doesn't make sense. You should probably do something else. And in my head, I'm going, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's difficult right now. This is a challenge. This is how I get better. Like, of course I'm going to make this work. That was never a question. It was never a question of if it was going to work. And I never understood why other people didn't get that. I never understood why other people saw the risk and why they saw the potential ways it could go wrong. And it's because they hadn't trained what I had trained into my system. They hadn't built the physical resilience and the mental identity of the person that overcomes resistance and the person that overcomes challenge. They hadn't had that experience. They weren't training as fighters, they weren't training as athletes, and they sure as hell weren't spending time listening to winning mentalities and studying professional athletes and studying fighters. They weren't doing all of the work that I was. And so I didn't understand why they saw all of the risk while all I saw was the potential reward, because I knew and I trusted in my ability to get through this, to overcome the initial hump, and to create a very successful business on the other side of this pretty significant period of stickiness and of resistance and of suckery, because that's what happens when you start a business. It's really fucking hard at first. But I persisted and I trusted my ability to make it happen. And 4.5 years later, or just over 4 years later, I'm still making it happen. And I'm growing at a rapid rate. And things are looking up in a way that they never have before. And that's all because I learned and trained the trust in myself, into my body, on a body nervous system level. I know that it doesn't matter how hard it gets, I overcome it and I win every single time. And it's because I learned that when it gets hard, when it gets challenging, when it really sucks, that's the best thing. That's the best thing because I know that my inevitable success is on the other side. And I never question that and I never waver in that. That is just it's the laws of the world that I live in, the ones that I've created. It is the laws of the universe for me because that's the reality that I live in. I don't follow any other belief system. All I know how to do is train to win. And that's what I do. So for all of my entrepreneurs that know you want to take that next big step, you want to take a risk in your business, but you're holding yourself back for some reason. You can't get yourself to actually put the in-person event on the calendar, or you can't get yourself to actually agree to the contract with the publisher, or you can't get yourself to buy the microphone to put up the podcast, whatever that obstacle is for you, whatever that looks like for you, I would challenge you to train physical resilience and to train winning and to train overcoming your edges and stretching your capacity into your body. Because the more you do that and the more you show up for yourself, the more you build a caseload of evidence as to why you win every time you're faced with challenge and as to why you never quit. Like you are the woman that sees it through every single time. And even if you maybe think you're already there mentally, allow your body to catch up. Allow yourself to train it into your body because on a body level, your entire system has to know that you are capable of it. They can't just know that you think it, they have to know that you feel it and that you've done it and that you've built an impenetrable, again, case file of evidence as to why you are the woman that overcomes the challenge and you never quit. So bring it into your body. When the mental work isn't enough and you keep doing the mental work, the mindset's important, but when the mental work isn't enough, when you feel strong in your mind, but you're still somehow keeping yourself back from that next level, I say, buck up, buttercup. It's time to train this into your body so that your body can catch up to the level of your mind and you can take that next step. If you loved this episode, please rate it 5 stars and give it a written review. If you guys do give it a written review, please send me a screenshot so I can send you a fun little bonus as a thank you for being such a loyal follower and such a loyal listener. I'm so grateful that you're here. We have so much to talk about this year. So make sure you are subscribed on whatever platform you listen to this on and definitely share it with a fellow entrepreneur or high achieving friend if you know they need to hear this message. I will catch you guys for the next episode.